Okie doke. Let's get it. Took me too long to bore myself. It took way too long. I haven't played any games or anything today. I haven't really done anything today, to be honest. Ugh. I think I did 40 minutes of dev earlier, and then took a brain break, but then watched Queso for like an hour and a half play horror games, and then played guitar a shitload, and then fucking went out to run for some reason. I think from here out, I cleared up all my bookmarks, so I don't have any now. I used to have a bajillion. This whole bookmarks bar just continued, but now they're all in a folder that I don't touch, really. Why is this bugged out? I don't know what's up with that one. Okay. But now I have them in regular ass little categories, things that I actually need. And I'm going to continue in a second after I wipe my glasses off on pseudo-random number generators. I'm trying to figure out the study strat so that I can just lock in, because like before, whenever I was just working on my game, I was spending like all the time working on it, and the only times where I wasn't spending as much was when I couldn't. I had to spend time thinking about things between development. I couldn't just sit there on it. I'd have to go and figure out a breakthrough. It's not just like, if it's one feature or some set of things that I know, I can just lock and just go straight ahead. I'm not going to burn out. But for learning something from scratch that doesn't, I don't know, that isn't fucking magic and isn't fun in itself, just trying to find the best strat. Whether it's Pomodoro, 30 minutes on, 5 minutes off, or just structured this much time on, this much time off. I think definitely smaller intervals with break times is good. So like maybe an hour or something instead of not like 4 hours in a row. I have probably some attention span, and I don't want to exceed whatever that time is, so that I can remember the stuff, because I'm learning. I'm not just doing stuff that's already in the brain. Okay. So I removed, now here bookmarked is just this, and there's no way as far as I can tell to get to YouTube from here. Oh wait. Yeah. Yeah, this is just here. I mean, I guess there's, oh wait, yeah, and this is this channel too. So this is just the channel. Oh no, I guess this is just youtube.com. Okay, so you can do that. I didn't know that. YouTube Studio? Ah, that's what we want, actually. Okay. Oops. Okay. This is what I want. Now there's no way, I think. Oh, there is. You can get to regular YouTube like this. Okay. I didn't know if there was a link between them or not, but it makes more sense for me to just do this. And then let's do this link. Cool. Go here and then just upload shit straight away. Nice. Okay. So I don't have, I'm not going to use YouTube. And then on my phone, I disabled YouTube and deleted Twitter X. And then that's about it. So I just bored myself. I'm just trying to, I was reading some of what I was looking at a John Carmack, who's some great programmer who was in Oculus and Doom and a bunch of things, id Software, taught himself from the ground up, and not trying to emulate how he studied, but just trying to figure out how to structure my environment so that I have to learn this, because I need to, and I want to sit here and I want to spend as much time as I possibly can every day doing this. So part of the answer is caffeine. Which is what I have. I have some Crystal Light energy stuff, which is good. But the main part of the answer is that I have to give up other things. And I have to understand that I've given up other things. And sure, don't sacrifice everything. Like, if I'm still in the same state where I'm learning and spending all time outside of work, or as much as I can outside of work learning, and a year down the line or 2 years down the line where I'm making a bit more dough, more than the amount that would only support me, I'm not gonna lock in so much that I have to start saying no to people when we're going to gatherings and whatnot, and then refusing freaking social shit and dates and all this kind of stuff. That's not happening. But I need to sacrifice the non-essential things, like sitting down and just watching queso for hours. So, still trying to figure out the strategy, the breakthrough. I don't want to. Maybe it's a thing I just suffer through forever, but I really. Oh my god, dude, these glasses are impossible to clean. It's little dust particles, I'm fine, but it's just smudge. Just trying to figure out the study strat. My way of locking in. Because everything I've been good at, I either was good enough only in a short circumstance, in a short test of skill, like school. I would just learn stuff the night before. I mean, I would I would pay attention in class, and that helped. And then before a test, if there was new stuff, I would study the stuff the night before, and then go in and then do well. Not the best, because I didn't put in a huge amount of effort, but I put in a bit the night before, which can only do so much. And the other thing, and the things that I've done well long term at, are games. Games that I have continually played and were fun from the get go. And you get better at a thing that by itself already from the start is fun. But on the first day of C or C, like, I wouldn't know what any of this shit means. And even right now, it's not particularly fun. And it's cool. But not even really. I want to do some shit. And I could do some shit, little projects, but not yet. There's too many other basics to learn. It's like doing a fucking trifold elementary school, middle school presentation on the direction left. Where I want to learn right first, and then straight, and then back, and then give a presentation on direction, not just left. Alright. So, seeding. Yep, we've done this. We've acquired a value, or it would make sense here to just include the acquisition. Is that this entire function is setting the global variable? But you may as well acquire what it is. But maybe you want to replace. Well, yeah, I mean, you could call it again later if it didn't have any parameters, and then it would get some stuff again. Yeah, it'd be more reusable if you had just added this. And it's basically it's one function. ice maker. Excuse me. Function does one thing. I mean, I guess it does more than one, but it's really one. I mean, this function loops and it also outputs. It outputs shit. This function acquires and sets and assigns the values that were acquired, the value that was acquired, sets this global variable to it, assigns it to it. I would have included that there. Oh god, dude, my nose. Oh, not again. Alright, we're good. Yep, so we're storing this value from the user, which is the seed, and then printing 10. And printing 10 takes that variable. Okay. Printing 10. Printing 10 outputs. So the difference is this was put entirely into a function call now. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I've already done a bunch of examples. I don't need to do more. Yep. Yep, because P, R, and G's are deterministic and start from some initial value. And the program can't come up with it on its own unless it has at least, well, the program can't use a P, R, and G to come up with that. okay, I guess that's true. Let me see. So the number of bits so assuming that the state and seed are synonymous, if you provided a seed that is 32 bits, or 16 bytes, so 128 bits, right? Because times 8, 48 and 80, yeah. We have 128, 0 or 1. 128 be the power of 2, because each option is 0, 0 or 1, which is 2 options. So in terms of unique total sequences, it's 2 to the power of the bits in the seed. So if we gave so if the state ranged from 0 to 10,000, then the different sequences of numbers that we could provide, because a PRNG provides a sequence of numbers, there'd be 10,000 sequences. And the reason why is because we provide one sequence for each number. There's no way to provide multiple sequences for multiple numbers, or an extra sequence outside of the numbers that were provided. Okay. Yep. Which of the limited number of options depends upon the seed, which updates the state of the algorithm, and then the algorithm operates, or of the PRNG, and then the algorithm within the PRNG operates on that seed number, on that state, and returns that value. So for every seed, there is one sequence. Assuming one algorithm per. And assuming one seed. So if we're not providing multiple things to determine, so there's nothing actually random here. We're not saying this number and then another number and then depending on the two. No, it's just one. Provide one thing, we get one thing. Yep. And in this case, we're saying the program is providing the seeds. So the program can provide, like if in Minecraft there are 1,000 different seeds. My lip was feeling weird. There would be 1,000 different worlds. Because for each seed is the same world. Yep. So limited by the amount of different seeds, because for each seed is one outcome. trying to see how. So I need to see examples of this. Trying to distinguish between the seed and the state because the state seems to be assigned the value of the seed. Meaning, so if we have, if there's an algorithm in the PRNG and it's operating on a state, and that is a uint32, that's a lot of, oh, okay. That's a uint32. Sounds like 2 to the 32 options in there. We want the seed to have that same level of complexity. That way the algorithm is not, or the PRNG is not underseeded. Why the underseeding would happen if we limited it to like four bits instead? Don't know yet. But it makes sense that in this algorithm you have some sort of variable that is the state that is operated on to return this final value, and then that state is operated on again to give you another number and another, etc. It makes sense that you would want the seeds to have the same amount of info and complexity as the state. Because your algorithm could return, like if we're talking about an 8 byte, or sorry, yeah, I guess if we're talking 32 bits, 32 bit. Yeah. So if we're talking like 4.3 billion for an unsigned int 16, or sorry, 32, which is basically the default unsigned if we're talking 8 bits. Or no, sorry, the default would be, yeah, 4 times 8 is 32. Okay, so a 4 byte unsigned int. If our state is capable of having 4.3 billion different answers, we want the seeds to come in and fully occupy that state so that we can modify the state and give values accordingly. If we only gave it 4 freaking numbers, or 4 integers, 4 digits, instead of some big boy shit, we're not using the state to its capacity. Yep, every bit in the state is initialized by an independent bit in the seed. The seed should be randomized. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like if it's always 0 or always 1, you're not using the seed to its full complexity. You're missing something. For example, if we always had a 0 for the highest number in an unsigned int 32, well, bro, that's like, yeah, it seems like since we're increasing by a factor of 2 each time, the power of 0 is 1, and then the 2's, and then the 4's. It means that if I cut this thing in half, we should know how big the top place is. So it sounds like it's 2.15 billion is the largest number. So if the largest one happened to be 0 all the time, we'd be missing 2.15 billion other options. So yeah, how about just say randomize? The seed should be fucking random, dude. Each bit should be random. And by definition, each bit being random means that they should be a good mix. It means that they're all random. In a low correlation with previously generated seeds. As much as random ones are. Oh my god. That is humongous. Hmm. So being PRNGs at large states are resilient to being seeded, to being underseeded. I wonder why you would want it to be such a freaking large state. Well, I guess it makes sense. You want the state to have as many bits as possible. So it's 2 to the whatever. That'll feel random. Is there a point where it gets more random than nature? How many bits are in the PRNG that is reality? Like at some point, surely you have more bits than there are factors affecting whatever. Something that's random. Bro. It's like wet on the end of my nose a little. Yeah. System clock. Oh, well, yeah. Makes sense. We pass in time. Pass in a whole bunch of different seeds, buddy. Those values are stuck. Well, yeah, because you're not using something that's random as part of the seed. So by definition, your seed isn't random. Okay. Seed should be random, bro. That's the takeaway here. Significantly underseeded because 32 and 64 is not enough. 64 bytes. That's normally 8 times smaller than it should be. Oh my. This is some big ass numbers, dude. That 5 quintillion. Okay. Yeah, to generate some numbers, you need much more seed data to generate those. Seems like. Okay. Mm. Not be biased in one spot. Makes sense. Yep. Histogram. Yeah, to check the plot of all the or all the values. So if we could get from here to here, are there clumps here or here or here? It should be normally distributed, uniform. Yeah, you could output a whole shitload of numbers and then check if the number has already been printed. How would you check that? Oh god. You store? You could append the number you generated to an array, but then the array's fuck, I don't know if the array is gonna I guess it won't overflow. You just give the array a size and it's just holding ints that are within range. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, the printing of the histogram would be interesting. Yep. 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 True. Yep. So what is this section called? Fucking making good algorithms? Oh, yep. Mm-hmm. Alright. I'm gonna make another PRNG. We're going to seed it, and then we're going to we want 10. Yeah, that'll work. The user can determine. Okay. Oh, what the fuck? All right. Okay. Um, pseudo-random number generator, and we'll call it functions. Sure. So we'll do, what are these? No parameters for either. Okay. Print will need output. But in this case, we'd be getting the user seed instead of, we still don't know where the seeds are supposed to come from. Sounds like they're supposed to be generated via a seed generator. And you need a good algorithm to generate the seeds. But then the algorithm in the PRNG needs to be good too, so that the numbers generated are hard to determine. Okay. Okay. Okay, we'll call it okay. Implementation file. The seeding will, yeah, we'll acquire it from the user. Okay. And then, yeah. Okay. And then Okay. Yeah, sure. Can't have it. Okay. We'll start on the first one. While current PRNG is less than total. So while the current one that I haven't been talking enough, while the current one is less than how many there are. Oh, less than or equal to. So that we go through however many there are. Okay. And what we'll do is we'll output oh yeah, we actually need the function that does the shit. Go ahead and include it here. Yep. It's not done yet. And then we'll display 5 per line. Remainder 5 is 0. End the line. Okay. And here, I don't even remember. So the file will have the forward declaration. What if we just did this is sequence length, this is void, this is void. Yeah, because on 32 it's not found, so this does need to be before. Makes sense, because the compiler has to run through this file. Oh, oops. And there's a linking issue. Oh. Well, hold on. Oh yeah, we haven't defined him. Yeah, because it saw extern, but then didn't see that it was defined. So if we removed the definition, this guy extern is showing that this is being defined elsewhere. Oh, yeah, it shouldn't be extern here. It's being defined elsewhere. So, yep. Oh, hold on. And this should also be, I think this should also be extern to show that this guy, seems like a good way just to make sure that the linker issue happens so that the compiler isn't happy. Because this guy says extern, there's no initializer, so this is a for declaration. If we don't say extern, it gets default initialized, and that's not what we want. It uses a garbage value. Here, if we take off the initializer, and take off extern as well, then this guy's default initialized, and then this guy is matching up with him. But instead, we want to value initialize, but we also want to say extern. Because if we say extern here, it's explicitly saying it's thinking that he's being defined somewhere else. But if we say extern and then actually initialize him, I think with variables you want to say extern only to indicate that it's a for declaration. So if we saw extern and then this, and it's already a global variable, people would ask why it's extern, because it already has external linkage. But okay. And here, this PRNG will be using the state, and the state is a static unsigned int called PRNG state. And it is initialized to be the first time it's ever called values PRNG seed. But it hasn't returned yet, and we are going to PRNG state is PRNG state multiplied by some funky number. Excuse me. And then yeah, we'll just do a remainder just to limit it. Limit it to be smaller than 4,000. Okay. Enter the seed. How many numbers? 15. Seems pretty good. Maybe biased on the 3s, but I guess not. There's a lot of 2s in here. Almost every number has a 2. But a third don't. It still seems too biased. The PRNG. Printing PRNG's values. PRNG sequences. User specifies blank PRNG sequence length. And okay. Seems cool here. This guy has a little for declaration action. This is the seed. Then we have the actual storing of the seed, then the printing of the values, which you could say is a helper function. Instead of just calling this guy and then having a loop in the pseudo-random number generator. Because then you just say, okay, it's a loop, get the length, and then boom, or get the length, and then we could say like seed, and then get the length, and then print, and then you just call the number generator. But maybe we want individual values. We want to do something with the individual values. So that's why it returns just this value. And then the sequence will be this guy. And we can specify how long we want it. We need at least one number. And then do this, all that. Oh, and then here we could say, we'll do the outputting. And then we could also say if sequence length is less than 1, this is do while, so there's no extra statement here. This guy ends. So we could say if the sequence length is less than 1, okay, it's too small, then sequence length too small must be at least 1. Okay, so we could say some big seed, and then we'll say 0, 0, 0, 0, negative 51, too small. Okay, fine, motherfucker, 1. Boom. Cool. Okay, so the main things here, this guy eventually determined by program, not user, and apparently randomly by the program, or at least as close to random as it'll get. I don't know if that means that you're doing some sort of online calls to some already done thing, or if there's something that's already in the C library, or what. Do we want these to be like this? I feel like it didn't make a difference really. I like the calls being yellow, or at least distinct. If this is all white, how would this look? God. Oh, it preserves everything pretty well. Nice. It's not bad. Would it be better here? Nah, no difference. It just encumbers the page. Okay. More examples. So later on, we're gonna do. I'll save it. Fine. adding a random number generator to actually get the seeds, or somehow getting the seeds not from the user. So random seeds, not random results. Because having the whole thing be random would be tough. Especially having it be actually random for a huge number of um, possibilities. Instead of having semi-random seeds and then big-ass random other ones. So, like, even Dark and Darker, it was hard to tell if maps were different or not, or if they were random. Well, actually, no, I guess that points to it. Well, it felt like Dark and Darker had a bajillion different maps, and each one only has like 20 rooms, and there's like 9 different maps. So, is that 180 individual? Well, no, it's only 9 unique maps. They're just oriented in such a way. I don't know. All right, brain's starting to get tired. Well, it's definitely tired. I need to go to bed, but okay. So we'll continue here, making good PRNGs tomorrow to see how to incorporate the random number generator and stuff. Maybe